5 seconds.
And we're back. Game number 2 of this best of 3. TongFu taking on Invictus Gaming in a rubber match for TongFu and a breakout match, potential breakout match for Invictus Gaming. If they can separate themselves definitely into that top tier, the cream of the crop here in the D2L Season 4 Eastern Division. TongFu, again, this is their next to last match. They only have a couple of wins under their belt. They're currently sitting in our top 4, but that's mainly because the other teams simply haven't had a chance to catch up so far in terms of the total number of matches played. TongFu, really, to realistically guarantee themselves at least a playoff berth, they want to win out from this point on. They really need a victory against Invictus Gaming, but IG just flat out had their number in game number 1. IG, I mean, really just came out punching, and from the very beginning, never at any point did TongFu really feel like they had the lead, except for the initial 2 kills they got in the first couple of minutes of the game. After that, and one disastrous team wipe in mid in particular where they fed 4, it was really just IG taking their time and securing a very simple win. And TongFu going to have to bounce back from that in a hurry. They will go ahead and get Earthshaker again. Again, we saw ZSMJ on that hero in the last match. Son Shang usually runs the hero, so that's certainly a question open for debate. Invictus Gaming going to grab up the Luna this time. Luna, by far the most popular hard carry in 6.79, at least so far. And we'll be joined by Crystal Maiden, a support who has really broken out and come into her own in terms of popularity. To break down the rest of the draft, once again, Ben Merlini Wu giving you the insight and analysis. And I mean, honestly, Ben, when you look at game 1, again, TongFu, it's not that they didn't make plays or they were playing totally stupid or anything. Invictus Gaming just kind of seemed to be on a different level. It was one of those games where it just felt like IG was better across the board.
They certainly were, and I'm surprised that TongFu went with the early Earthshaker pick. I think it didn't do that much last game. Like, it's nice and all, but I think like you want your supports to be a little bit flexible, and someone like Rubik, for example, is very, very flexible, and also it gets fairly easily countered by Shaker. Like, you just hookshot him and then you battery assault, and the Earthshaker can't do anything. He can't even cast Fissure. He can echo, but by that time he's already useless. So I don't particularly like the early draft from TongFu. They did ban out Clockwork, so I guess that's something that's good, but why not just take it later in the draft? Timber, I think, is like a really flexible hero, something that they need in their early couple of picks. Luna, also a very flexible pick. IG's draft already pretty solid. They pick up with a Bounty Hunter for themselves as well as a Crystal Maiden, so we're going to see a lot of early aggression. And combined with Luna as their choice of hard carry, I expect like maybe something aggressive for Ferrari in middle, maybe I would say Night Stalker, but they already banned him out. Like, I think Puck would do pretty well here.
Yeah.
What else is there? We've seen him play Queen of Pain. They could go for a Shadow Fiend. I think that's a little bit greedy. I think it depends on what TongFu picks as their choice of carry right now. We saw an Alchemist too early. Yeah. I don't think they'll pick Alchemist though.
Tell you something I would like to see, and I'm not even saying this is a high possibility. If you're talking about a hero that would fit in real nice with the Bounty Hunter lineup with the Crystal Maiden, how about an Invoker? Ferrari, of course, one of the better Invoker players in the world, being able to run an excellent Invoker, have Sunstrike to contribute to these fights out of that mid position. And it would certainly be a curveball, if nothing else. TongFu picking up the Viper, and such was the time that Viper might have been considered a curveball, but we've seen just how powerful that hero can be, and we got a first-hand look at it yesterday, Merlini. I mean, we saw Burning on the hero, then we saw CTY in particular get absolutely huge on him, and in the end, it was DK who prevailed and showed the hero can be used pretty damn well at this kind of a level, so long as he has a nice team built around him. If I'm not mistaken, it was a team very similar to what TongFu has. They had the Timbersaw as well as the Viper. Timbersaw, kind of the meat shield of the team, just able to YOLO his way into any fight and draw a lot of attention. Well, the Viper sat back, pecked away, and just picked off the supports one by one, and the hero by nature tanks up so very easily and very well that by the time a game is over, by the time you're 30-40 minutes into a game, it becomes damn hard to kill a Viper.
Yeah, it does. I think this is a very good pick from TongFu, and he's also very hard to kill early. He dominates his lane, which TongFu had a really big problem like winning their lanes last game. So I think it's a good pick for them. And like when they try to roam on him, we saw how tanky he was yesterday, and I don't even think Burning went a good build on him. If Viper actually gets like Mech Scepter, he's just gonna there's the Alchemist that I said I thought they were not gonna pick, but there it goes.
Well, speaking of Burning's build, just to throw that out there, you're right. If memory serves, Burning actually built what? I mean, he ended up disassembling it, and it wasn't the biggest deal in the world. But he built an S and Y that basically gave them nothing. He just delayed Scepter, and then ended up getting was it a Halberd and then a Mantis style? I want to say when he disassembled it, and then eventually got up a Scepter. And But yeah, I mean, just one of those item choices, like the S and Y just didn't do anything. It was only once he got a halberd up that we really started to see him feel really survivable. But anyway, TongFu with the Viper, that Alchemist pickup from Invictus Gaming. I really like this front four from IG just because of how well they're going to be able to fight early. Timbersaw, very survivable. Viper, as we talked about, does tank up by his very nature. But there's so much burst coming out of Invictus Gaming right now. Between Crystal Maidens, Nova, and Frostbite with Luna, of course, Eclipse and Lucent Beam, Bounty Hunter 8 with Shuriken Toss, Janata, and the bonus damage that comes from breaking Shadow Walk, as well as Alchemist. Alchemist, you know, it's easy to underestimate just how much damage Unstable Concoction can do whenever you have a nice setup. And really not too many setups better than Frostbite.
Yeah, TongFu has a lot of magic resist, though, or just tankiness in general. Timbersaw is so difficult to kill. Rubik with his null field, and Viper, especially with Corrosive Skin plus null field, he's going to be, like, really difficult to kill. So I think Invictus has, like, a very good physical damage lineup, though, with Luna, with Bounty Hunter, and with Alchemist. So they're somewhat prepared for that. I'm curious to see as whether or not TongFu is going to pick a really heavy late gamer or just, like, a Lich or something like that, because if they pick a heavy late gamer, the pressure's kind of on Invictus to try and fight them a lot early, just because Viper's most likely going to win his lane in the middle, and Luna, I mean, she's going to do okay, but she really like gains a lot from like early fights and getting a couple early kills with Eclipse, and Viper with a point booster into a scepter will be able to shut her down. So like TongFu will be able to like play passively and farm if they need to, which is kind of what IG did last game. And if the roles are reversed and IG actually feels pressure to come out, they're more liable to make mistakes, and TongFu may be able to take a game down. But if Invictus Gaming has a better late game and TongFu's in the same position as they were last game, it's like, hey, we got to get kills, we're behind, and we don't have better late game, then IG is just going to walk away with an easy 2-0 victory.
OD going to be the pickup. We haven't seen as much OD. OD, a hero who got nerfed in a number of ways. I mean, predominantly, you know, he lost some base damage. That's fine. That hurts his early game a little bit. But the fact that he no longer has Tranquil as a mechanism to proc his Essence Aura, since that change, we really just haven't seen that much OD. Other than that, he's the same old hero. I mean, Sanity's Eclipse is still an absolute monstrous nuke that you can drop if you happen to get ahead. And, of course, he does a ton of pure damage. But there are two heroes right now, at least two, if not three, on the side of IG that are going to want to build a BKB. Luna and Alchemist, of course, the two most prominent. Bounty Hunter, a hero who very often will get a BKB. And they're going to go ahead and round it out with an Enchantress. So not a BKB hero, but with 3 of the 5 on IG, very possibly two of the 3 guaranteed, virtually guaranteed to build a BKB. That's a sad face kind of a time for OD. I mean, Outworld Devourer just really does not do that well once BKBs come out. So TongFu with that pick gives themselves another strong laner, but I feel like they're under just as much pressure as Invictus is to make sure this lineup peaks at the right time and capitalizes on when they come into their own.
I think that IG is going to roam very early with Banana and Faith, and TongFu is really on the support play this game. ZSMJ and Songcheng have to step it up. They have to move a lot more early game, and they have to counter the movement from Invictus Gaming, or just make Invictus Gaming react to them. But they cannot stay in their triple lane, or if they're doing a triple lane, and do what they did last game and let OD and Zoe come under a lot of pressure. So they are actually, it's going to be XTT. So are we going to see a Viper triple lane, or Moo's going to be mid? We're going to see Viper probably in a dual lane with somebody, and Timbersaw, I think it's going to be 3-1-1.
Yep, that's kind of what I was thinking, too. Are going to have a quick pause. Want to thank each and every one of you once again. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, no matter what corner of the world you happen to call home. Thanks for calling this stream your home, at least for a little while. The opening best of 3 of the evening for us. We got 2 more following this up, so make sure you grab a beer, settle in, and get ready. Lots of Dota on the way. And while I have a moment, this will be our last broadcast of this, well, it's now this week, but our last broadcast of this week, and then, of course, looking ahead to the rest of next week. So we are looking to get more ancillary content going for the D2L to fill in these gaps in our schedule, and hopefully we'll have some news to put out about that. But even more important than that, Merlini, happy Halloween, everyone. Chances are I'm not going to be talking to you via stream, and hope everyone enjoys their candy day. Really looking forward to I just moved into the new place a few months ago, and I actually am looking forward. I've never given candy out to kids who trick-or-treat. I think there's going to be kids in my neighborhood that trick-or-treat this year, and I'm really, really kind of stoked about it. And even if there's not, I'm so going to totally buy a bowl of candy, and if the kids don't come around, I will pound it. I will just pound that candy. It'll be fine.
You're just gonna turn all your lights off and just pretend you're not
Exactly.
Eat all the candy for
Exactly.
yourself.
That's how it'll
Don't
go.
pretend. Don't pretend that you're excited to hand candy out.
That would exactly. Buy the bowl of candy. I'll use that as justification. Then turn all the lights out, and hopefully they won't come around so I can eat all the candy. And by candy, of course, I mean drink all the booze because that's what you do on Halloween when you're an adult. Moving on. Looking ahead, IG and TongFu, game number 2. And doesn't look like we're going to have too much jungle invasion. No, the Hoongles are safe, at least for the moment. So how about we do something that I actually didn't do in game 1, and I always feel kind of dirty. Feel like I've cheated someone whenever I don't run through the lineups. On the side of Invictus Gaming, we're going to have Faith handling Crystal Maiden. The Enchantress going to be played by Banana. Luna going to be farmed up by Ferrari 430 this time. So mid-Luna, not the rarest thing in the entire world, but not something you see all that often. We'll discuss the matchup she's going to be in once things get going a bit. YYF, who had a phenomenal game 1, will be playing on the Bounty Hunter this time around, with the Alchemist going to be farmed up by How. On the other side of the river, we got Zoe handling our Viper. He's hanging out near bottom lane, at least for the moment. The Timber Song going to be played by XTT. The Earthshaker for the second game in a row going to be played by ZSMJ. And really, given the state of things, I feel like ZSMJ had a good game in game 1. His impact was so minimized because of how out of control the game got so quickly. So we'll be keeping an eye on him. San Sheng, once again, going to be on the Rubik as well. So TongFu, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Unfortunately, it's game 1 was broke a little bit. They're going to stick with the same support staff, though, just switching out the other roles. And Moo going to be handling the old dirty, handling OD Outworld Devourer here in mid, going one-on-one with Ferrari.
Yeah, this is not a terrible matchup for Luna. She can just go Lunar Blessing and just save her skill points for Glaive if she wants to later, or just max Losing Beam. Losing Beam's way better. But in laning phase, you might want like 1 stats maybe to try and compete with Move for last hits. It's just going to be a farm fest in mid. XTT is doing better than he was last game against YYF. I hope I don't see an early first blood, or this game may very well spiral out of control again. So TongFu is just looking to break even in the lanes. I don't really think they can straight up win any of these. Like maybe Moo can dominate Ferrari, but that's going to be it. I think for the most part. Faith and Banana, double Centaur. This is scary. Are they going to go behind tower? They scout him out though with a ward, and this ward was really, really important for them.
We're going to see a sentry drop down near the ancient camp, and you see it getting pinged all to hell. They know exactly what's going on here. And as you mentioned, that's actually a pretty big missed opportunity for IG. I mean, getting double Centaur, now they're going to smoke up. And we see ZSMJ and San Sheng are actually moving together as well. And they're going to cross right in front of the Roche pit.
He has boots. Oh, he popped one of the smokes. He knows.
And yeah, it looks like they are going to go ahead and hang, at least for the moment. And yeah, and How ends up getting egg on his face a little bit. In the meantime, at top, a little bit of trading in the paint. Hang on. I'll tell you what's so hectic as a caster whenever you look at lanes like this. When you have a Timbersaw versus a Bounty, usually you can just watch the mini-map, and when the icons get very close, you can tell there's something going on. They're so close all the time in this lane, and for the most part, even in mid here, because Luna's attack range is so low for a ranged hero that it's so hard to tell if there's actually action or if they're just, if they're just slapping each other's butts a little bit and saying good job while they last hit.
My icons are so big that they're like always touching. But, it's not so bad. I can see when he gets astraled in mid all the time. My big old dot disappears. So early game CS, I mean, fairly even. Top lane 11-2, 10-1 for the Bounty Hunter. Mid lane, actually 9-10 for Luna. My goodness, 4-8 for the OD. So OD's actually getting dominated by Ferrari, and there wasn't like any nerf to the base damage of either of these heroes. So why didn't anyone do this in 6.78?
It's a great point. I mean, really, OD was such a dominant hero in pre-patch. I mean, very, very often first pick, first ban caliber material. And we're just seeing Ferrari just kind of dominate at the moment. And it's not like Moo's a bad mid. It's not like he's flat out skill differencing. And you can make the argument one's better than the other, and that's fine. But for the most part, they're close enough in level that you wouldn't think that there would be such a dominant performance by Luna. Like you said, 9-11 to 10-9 on the OD. This is a hero who's going toe-to-toe with the old dirty quite well. And I am filing an official position. I don't like Outworld Devourer. I think we should just name him Old Dirty. Are you on board with me, Merlini?
Well, as long as it stands for OD, I don't care.
Exactly. It's the Old Dirty. Old Dirty. 3.5 minutes in, no kills on the board. Bounty is absolutely killing it. He and Timbersaw both sitting at 18 CS now after a little bit of whirling death. 11-11 in mid, so very even there. The Luna very close at 10, and Banana doing his thing in the jungle. This feels like old Dota is what this feels like. It is so quiet. And now Moo might actually be in a little bit of trouble. Ferrari places 2 points in the Lucent Beam and manages to get one off. Not enough to kill him, though, but sure enough to scare the hell out of him.
Wildkin is super annoying, and Ferrari will get a DD rune on top that should pretty much secure the lane for him. Moo needs a Flask or Bottle Crow, but even then he's going to be under some pressure unless he gets some help. Sansheng, ZSMJ bringing up the rear.
They've got a Fissure ready to roll. Sansheng. Up, here we go. They're going to move in, and the telekinesis is going to be slow. They mistimed it. The creeps up.
He's only level 4. If he were level 5 there, they would have had like 1 more second to go up there, and that's a really big deal for them. So they maybe should have waited just like half a second. He's like almost level 5 right now, but unfortunately they missed out on a kill opportunity. TongFu not being as efficient in this early game XP lead, clearly going to IG because of that.
Yeah, it's the same problem we saw them face earlier, and that was a big reason why Game 1 really just never really felt like they could do much. They just got under-leveled too quickly. And you take a look at the early levels, you can see level 1 for Earthshaker at 5 minutes in, just level 2 for the Rubik. So
there's 2 people rotating. They should know that something's up. They have a ward on top to spot the Enchantress. They don't have a ward on bottom to spot the CM.
And Crystal Maiden showing her face, gonna pull Sansheng out. OD takes a peek there as well, and Banana gonna go ahead and rotate into the enemy jungle, at least for a moment. And Zoe continuing to kind of pound away. We take a look at the early CS. Just 14 last hits for this Viper, though. He's actually kind of being trounced by the Alchemist. Of course, it does help that he has had a lot of support help down in this lane. Faith, for the most part, has stayed
we
put.
see a rotation. Level 6 from Bounty Hunter. This could be our first blood right now. Zoe has 2 points of Crows' skin. Is he tanky enough? I do not think so.
And Zoe pulling back, instinctively knowing what's up. Faith will get off the Nova. Are they going to dive in? Shuriken tosses there, yep, and got it off at the last second. Zoe will be your first blood. Could not have asked to have done it any better.
Where's the TP from the supports? TP from ZSMJ, boom, gank on. TP from Sansheng, boom, gank on. Like, these supports, it's really on them for an early game. They did not react fast enough. Zoe really can't do anything right there. He was trying to... He backed off as soon as Timbersaw called missing on top, and looks like this is going to get stolen. Oh, they baited it out.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
YYF walking right into the trap. Fissure up. Wow. OD dropping the ult just to secure the kill.
Where's the telekinesis? Like, Sansheng, I don't exactly know what he's doing in the early game, but he could be doing a lot better. He could have TP'd on bottom, helped him out. He could have telekinesed, so Moo didn't have to waste his ultimate there. And just, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to be at the right place at the right time.
Yep. I agree with you. That was kind of weird out of TongFu. And, you know, TongFu, for all their pits and follies, and I'm not saying that anything negative about that team. Every team has their ups and their downs. They're usually very quick to react. Their communication usually tends to be very, very good. And that early first blood dive, they had all the time in the world to prepare. It was very obvious that that Zoe knew what was going on. He took off for the tier 1 and knew he was in trouble, and just nothing there to stop it. 1-1, though. They did manage to bait out the Bounty Hunters, so not a complete loss as we roll past 7 minutes. Take a look at the gold graph. Very close. Only 500 gold separating the two teams. Virtually nothing at this stage of the game.
Smoke, though. They need to kill Luna.
The experience is opening up a bit. Crystal Main has picked up a set of Tranquil Boots. There's going to be the Telekinesis, bringing her right back down, and the Fissure to follow it up. Ferrari blown up, and that's what this TongFu squad needs to be doing. This composition of theirs is ready built to do that over and over and over again. And it looks like, yep, no surprise. First item, Midas. Though check that second item. He did get brown boots first. Bringing that bad boy out at 7.5 minutes.
Not bad for him at all. I think that Ferrari probably should have expected that coming. He doesn't actually have a ward like on this part of the area, so he should stay like on the top side of the creeps. Sansheng came from behind. He actually got a good telekinesis off and dragged Ferrari when he was over here. Ferrari has to stand closer to the other side in case of smokings. He has night vision, but he still get ganged that night.
YYF tracking out Moo. Oh, nice Fissure. Delays it just long enough. YYF will have a shuriken up in 5 seconds. Moo uses Astral Imprison. ZSMJ is there. And heard the Timber Chain as well. There's the dust out, so YYF likely to pay for his greed now. Doubles back after being telekinesed. Faith is there on the low ground, throws out another track. Here comes Zoe. And YYF just too quick. That's just the power of track. Not only does it allow you to run heroes down, certainly allows you to run away from heroes if you're able to get one off, and Faith able to dodge the Fissure. So, bit of a missed opportunity on both sides. TongFu really should have killed off the bounty there. No real good excuse.
Yeah, Sansheng just missed his telekinesis, or XCT missed his chakra. Either way you want to look at it. He telekinesed him here, dragged him back, and then XTT like Timber Chain like in this area. So they just didn't coordinate that very well at all.
TongFu moving down towards the Ancients, at least for the moment. Taking a look at the early net worth, we can see the Alchemist, as one would anticipate, sitting near the top. He's only got 1 point in the Grieval's Greed, though, but I'll tell you what, man, an Alchemist...
Yeah, value point, man.
Yeah, the value point. The Ferrari actually will eat another fissure. The angle was wrong, though. Perhaps could have trapped him, but... And an Alchemist with a 7.5-minute Midas who will be putting more points in the Grieval's Greed, they need to shut him down. They do not want to leave this Alchemist alone for 10 minutes.
But they have to shut Luna down, too, so they're kind of in a pickle.
Ferrari has kind of been living on the edge out here in mid. I mean, Luna, for all, you know, she's doing okay, and that has a lot to do with just how good Ferrari is as a mid. But she is easy to gank. She has no innate escapability. She's level 7, so yeah, you have to worry about Eclipse, but if you time it right with the creeps or what have you, or just watch her mana, you know how mana intensive that spell is for her early on. You'd think they should have the ability to do so. We're going to see...
Hero stun.
Yep. And Sansheng gonna move in and get off a Fade Bolt and Telekinesis. Here's the SMJ and the Fissure. Beautifully shot. That's what they needed to do. ZSMJ is just flat out balling. Every time we see him play anymore, Merlini, he is on the money. Up at top, we're going to have a smoke gank to try and get a little bit of a return, though. Zoe will be tracked out. There's the Nova and the Frostbite to follow it. Should be an easy track kill. YYF's got to be careful. A lot of damage being done, but with actually uses his wand charges. The Satyr will be able to throw the Shockwave in just a minute. There's the Shuriken. That prompts a big return, though, and OD dropping the hammer. Whoa. Got 2 in return. Completely wiped out the bounty, and Enchantress went from 100% to roughly 5. Was cleaned up with an auto attack, so TongFu playing with a little bit of swagger this game, not just laying down and taking it.
Like, why did they wait until, like, he was all the way over here and then they started TPing? Like, it was just so, like, I don't know why they don't TP a little bit earlier. That's the second time Joe's just been left out to dry. Sure, they got a lot out of it, but, like, for example, he could defensively Astral the Viper and then dropped his ultimate and then turned it around that way. So, they're getting out of it. I think that they're still slightly slow on their reaction, though. IG is just doing a much better job of generally protecting their heroes. And Ferrari, if he dies mid, at least they have an Alchemist farming. And I guess on the flip side, TongFu, if Viper dies, then OD's getting a good amount of farm. He'll have his Force Staff fairly shortly, and it looks like we see people getting Tread's Force Staff instead of the 6.78 Tranquil mech.
Yeah, I don't think that, I mean, Tranquil Boost Change, still an excellent item for the right heroes and so on.
That item is garbage. I beg to differ.
Hey, you really don't like the new Tranks?
I do not. It's 13 seconds. It's just so long. Like, even if you're doing neutrals, it gets disabled for 13 seconds. It's like, I don't know. Like, on someone like Axe, you can't get Tranquils anymore because you're always taking damage. So it really limits the pool that you can get it on. I play, like, support Tidehunter too, and it's just like, I don't know. It's okay at best. I think that 6.78 were much better. And, like, 6.76, those were freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, I remember the old Tranks that were basically standard core on almost everyone, at least in the early game. Now we're gonna have Faith caught with a fissure. There's the Chakra to follow it up. Alchemist looking for a target. Got off the freezing field to do some damage. They're gonna get a track kill on Zoe. Now XTT next on the list. Unstable Concoction still 5 seconds off cooldown. The SMJ did find a level through all that as well, but Banana caught trying to make his way over Sansheng, making a run for it. He's gonna be enchanted out. No help coming from the rest of TongFu. And once again, Hal ends up eating his own Unstable Concoction. Here comes Moo, and that will be enough to secure Sansheng enough room to breathe.
Why didn't Banana impetus? He could have impetus him twice. Is he not level 6 yet? He is level 6. 2 impetus, he could have killed him. And I'm not sure why he's not using his mana there. But, well, they're hovering around the Roshan pit. There's no way they can take out Roshan right now. Maybe when Viper completes his mech, they can do it. Crows is actually pretty good at taking out Roshan as his poison attack. The attack speed is slow. Fairly significant, 25% plus 40%. And they stack. They didn't kill CM fast enough on bottom, and Zoe just getting the short end of the stick this game. Getting ganked out without his teammates reacting. But he's still doing pretty well. 3-3-1. He has his buckler up, so not all is lost on that front. We see a 4-man smoke gank from IG. They are looking for blood, and how we haven't really talked too much about him. Looks like he's going to Armlet build. That seems
this could get bad in a hurry for IG. Smoke's going to be popped, and Bounty's going to run into a world of pain. Gets up one track. They're going to initiate. There's the Eclipse doing good damage. Fissure bought some time, but Zoe now the target. XTT trying to chase this out. Buyback from the Bounty Hunter and the Echo Slam, plus Sanity's Eclipse, and just like that, IG goes up in dust. There's going to be another track out and another buyback. That's going to be the CM. They're going to try to come back in on this. YYF looking for a target. Hal
SMJ
and Faith
are going to die.
Trying to track this out. There's another track on the ZSMJ. And the Nova barely clipped him. Got his heel. So that's going to be another track kill going their way.
What a Nova by Faith right there. That was just huge for them. They use a lot of buybacks, though. I think TongFu a little bit of overkill on Banana there, dropping the Echo Slam as well as the Sandy's Eclipse.
Yeah.
But still, that was a very good situation for them. They managed to turn a Smoke King completely around. Really good position right there. Really good Sentry Ward right here. So they were just completely prepared for whatever angle that IG came from. They had a ward over here, so they knew that they weren't in this area. They had vision over here, so that they knew they weren't coming from there. But they were just in a very excellent position. They pretty much just like walked right into Timbersaw, just getting mass shotgun right there.
I just drew a frowny face for Faith. Faith just learned why it's not a good idea as a Crystal Maiden to just go wandering off in the dark. She just basically wandered to the side shop.
Wandered her Midas.
Yeah.
Like, is that too much to ask for?
She
on a CM?
just too much. But yeah, she wandered around in the dark and ran into a Timbersaw and a Viper. And then she was no more. She perished. And it was very unpleasant, and many tears were shed across the board.
That just totally blew the game wide up, though. Like, IG was like accumulating this like very slow and steady lead, especially with Hal having his Midas up. And now, like, after they just like almost wiped them right there, I believe Hal survived there. So like they're doing well in that aspect. But now people are catching up. Zoe catching up now. He almost has his mech completed, just like 10 gold. And, no, he actually, oh yeah, he has his mech right now. So now he's finally caught back up. He got his mech. It's not a terrible timing considering how much pressure he's been under. XCT doing phenomenally right now. ZSMJ may be able to afford his arcane boost very soon. We have level 6 on Sangsheng. So things are actually finally starting to come together for TongFu. They just need to keep picking smart fights. I don't really think they can really do that much about the Alchemists right now. If you armlets and ultimates, like, they don't really have enough damage for them. They have like a decent amount of burst, but still it's just not enough. If they drop like Sanity's Eclipse and Echo and Chakram and Viper Trek, yeah, he's gonna die, but that's like a 5-on-1 gank. So they just need to pick off all the other heroes and then isolate him later with Astral Imprisonments constantly with Viper Strikes. They just need to kite him around and kill everybody else because they're pretty weak right now, especially Ferrari. Even though he was off to a good start, Treads, Wraithband, Bracer up on him right now. That's it.
Moo has his 4 staff up, moving around under cover of an invis, looking to make something happen. They did take that bottom tower, the lone tower, to have dropped on either side so far this game. So map control has remained pretty much an even affair. And, you know, this is... I don't really like where IG's positioned right now because, I mean, the Bounty Hunter, I'm not sure what level he is. Yeah, I was going to say I'm pretty sure he's short of 11. Level 2 track is really where Bounty begins to have that snowball feeling. I mean, level 1 track is excellent, bonus gold, so on and so forth. You can get yourself a little bit of a lead. But it's getting that Bounty to level 11 and getting as many level 2 track kills as you can where that hero will really just put you over the edge. And at 17 minutes, the fact that he's not even level 10 yet, it's got to be a little worrisome if you're Invictus Gaming. You're running out of fights you can lose, basically. Like, you can lose a set amount of fights in any game.
Track gold, though, man. Track gold leads to Midas gold, leads to victory.
But it's just level 1 track. He finally did hit level 10.5. If he gets to level 11, I'll feel much better.
Fissure, long range fissure comes out from ZSMJ.
Yep, we're going to have Hal blown up.
He didn't have his ultimate up. Hal is really where like most of their eggs lie right now, and they can't have him just die for absolutely nothing. They got what, like a tiny bit of damage on the T1 and like a tiny bit of damage or a tiny bit of farm out of him on top. He can't be caught out right there. Like, what are you doing like right here with no backup and with no vision up there? Looks like IG's trying to make something out of it. Zoe has already TV mid. He is ready. He has mech too, so they cannot tower dive him right now. It will just end in a world of pain.
In the meantime, that top tier 1 taking some right clicks. Looks like the OD Old Dirty, along with XDT, will go ahead and bring her down. 6-12. TongFu doubling up the opposition after that tower kill. We can actually see they've built themselves the highest lead of the series. I don't think they were more than ever more than 1,000 or 2 ahead in game 1. So coming up on 3,000 gold. And, you know, this is where they want to be. If you're able to get ahead on a bounty hunter like this and stay ahead through the mid game, you're going to have an excellent chance to win. IG looks to change that around. Those they have YYF and company moving and rotating through him. XTT building himself a new set of boots, needs to hustle up so he doesn't get caught and looks like they will all be able to retreat with no blood lost.
As farm as the Alchemist is, he actually needs a BKB this game. I think he actually should have gotten BKB before the armlet. They just have so much magic damage with Timbersaw, with Earthshaker. He can't really do anything. And if he doesn't get BKB, he just gets Astral all game, and it's just really annoying for him. So they're kind of forced to wait until he has a BKB. It's going to come out fairly quickly, but they just lost a T1 on top. They're going to lose a T1 on mid probably very shortly too. And the item choice, like Armlet's great if you can actually fight, but they just can't without a BKB. It's kind of a shame. They really need one on Luna too, but she is just scrambling for items right now. She does have her drums though. Oh, they have track on Rubik.
Yep,
oh,
I was just going to say, yep. Just saw Rubik still track, throws it out onto the Alchemist, and right now IG playing a very safe game. I mean, they're keeping their tower up, but not engaging out. That's really not IG's style either. IG tends to be a team who likes to outmaneuver you, and likes to be a little bit more surgical, and likes to punish you that way. And right now, TongFu just looks like a different team. And if you remember when we first came into the series, kind of mentioned TongFu was a feast or a famine team, and it was just a question of which TongFu team was going to show up. I believe the good one showed up here for game 2. They look like a different team just the way they're playing.
Right now, though, this is really risky. And yeah, I agree. They're very inconsistent. Song Shung, sometimes he has amazing games, sometimes he has like so-so games. Yep. ZSMJ is probably one of the most consistent. Zoe, I thought was the most consistent, but last game he's like, hey, I'm going to tower dive at nighttime. It's a Night Stalker without BKB. That sounds like a fantastic idea. So I don't know what went on there, but XCT.
Hang on, YYF going to be caught by a Fissure, cleaned up with a Timber Chain. And they're going to pursue this out. Hal throws out the Unstable Concoction, catches Zoe. There's the Freezing Field, and we're going to see the Sanity's Eclipse dropped once again. TongFu is beginning to melt down, but just not enough damage on the side of IG. It's like deja vu, except with the coin flip.
Kill the CM too. Are they going to get a track kill out of this? Oh, goodness.
Yep. That's a 5-man wipe. And just like that, TongFu in total control of their own fate. 17-6. And again, it's like watching a different team play. The way they're playing, the way they're chaining their abilities together, everything is just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, their supports are playing really well too. Like Sansheng, like even though he had like a really rough like first 3 minutes, like after that he's been playing incredibly well. They have good vision up. He's been stealing good spells. He hasn't been dying, and he's just been finding levels in farm and sticking with his team, not getting picked off. ZSMJ, like it was all just like after this bottom fight though, that smoking. After that, IG really has to play on the back burner and just be like, hey, let's farm our BKBs and then we can fight, because TongFu is just getting further and further ahead. IG can't keep fighting without BKBs though. They need to just play it safe for another 2k gold. Alchemist already has his Ogre Club, so does Luna, so a little over 2k gold for Luna, but after that, then they can maybe start winning fights under their own towers. But right now, TongFu in complete control of the game. 21 minutes in, they built up an 11 kill lead, extended the gold lead to 7,500, and this is without any Midases.
You know, just to echo your point, it's kind of ridiculous how much TongFu squad suffers if BKBs come up at a decent time. Earthshaker.
That's what the Scepter Viper's there for, though. So it's very good insurance.
And still, I mean, you lose most of OD's damage. You're going to lose a lot of basically everything Rubik and Shaker have to contribute. And Viper, I mean, like you said, with the Scepter, that's fine. But other than that, he's not going to give you a ton.
They're going to have solutions, though. Once CSMJ gets Blink and they have looks like YYF going to die again.
Telekinesis right into a Fissure, very well placed, and just like that, TongFu makes it another kill. They're now tripling up, fully tripling up their opponents. 18-6, I think so. I'm pretty sure I heard him get it off at the end.
Yeah, that's ugly. And yeah, OD, once he gets a sheep, he has a sheep right now, actually. And ZSMJ gets his Blink. Like, BKBs aren't going to be that big of a deal if TongFu can actually execute properly. So IG, they are very, very far behind. I think very's an understatement right now. And yeah, why? Like, TongFu is just playing amazingly well this game. Like, Zoe isn't just like dying unnecessarily. I think most of it is because of his supports, as opposed to him overextending last game. And like, the supports are actually doing like very, very large amounts of work this game. So like, I don't know where they were game 1. Maybe they just need a game to warm up, but they are on fire right now.
Here we go. There's a Fissure caught too. Yep. There's the Scythe of Ice showed off from the OD. Chakram is there, and Banana, just like that, gone. They have gotten nothing out of that Enchantress pick. Literally nothing. She's come out a couple of times, and they just, I mean, if you're going to pick an Enchantress, you need to make that worthwhile. And a big part...
It's for the Midas. It's the Midas hero.
That's it. That's the only reason. Why? I mean,
she does have a Midas.
Of course she does. Why would she not? This is the fits of the Midas. We're playing Dota. Or don't.
We have 2 minuses to 0.
We're playing Dota. Dota.
But this is the exact same thing. Like, you get 2 Midases, and then they just 5-man and punish you. And TongFu did it today, or is doing it right now. DK did it yesterday. No, DK did it yesterday too. So, like, Midas is good and all sometimes, but not when the other team just 5-mans in your face, takes on all the T1s, all the T2s, and Roshan, and you're too far behind because of that. Ferrari gets sheeped out.
Ferrari actually blew a drum charge there, had Sanity's Eclipse spent just to secure the kill, down for 40 seconds now. No, not a single outer tier tower remaining on the side of IG. This has been so dominant from TongFu. They have lost only 1 outer tier tower, and that's that tier 1 bottom. And at this point,
I mean, OD's owning too. Like,
oh yeah, he's 7-0-5. Moo is just an absolute monster right now. You take a look at the net worth, 3 of the top 4, all belonging to TongFu with Moo at the top. I mean, this is just problematic as hell for any team, especially one with a bounty hunter. You just can't have a bounty hunter on team and start falling behind this much in gold.
Again.
Yeah.
Oh.
12,000 gold the advantage for TongFu. Like, I don't know why they would break off the siege. They're just going to free kill Faith. That's all that is a free kill. And getting off the unstable concoction, a little impetus damage. YYF runs right into a scythe. And now we're going to have the Eclipse popped out. XTT tracked out, but whoa, okay, ZSMJ.
Suicide XTT.
Yep.
Oh, where's the suicide, bro?
ZSMJ actually screwed up his blink combination there. He meant to blink and Echo Slam and had his blink put on cooldown, so he Echo Slammed absolutely nothing outside of the base. But in the yeah, I mean, basically ZSMJ screwed the pooch there, and it just doesn't matter. Like, hang on, they're going to go for it. Another good fissure. YYF will be able to one charge himself back to health. Here comes Hal, and trying to do what he can. Freezing Field doing good damage. Zoe will be force staffed away. The urn is there to help out. ZSMJ does end up dropping. Hal, the next on the list as well. They still didn't manage.
Defend the racks.
Yeah, they didn't manage to get that racks. That's a little bizarre, actually.
It really was that Echo Blink Dota.
And Astral Imprison.
Yes, Aegis. They got to be really scared of this fight. They have no ultimate or BKB on Alchemist.
And speaking of the Alchemist, down to about half health, we're going to see Banana caught out again, using Nature's Attendance to try and stay alive. Moo still up. Will be able to kill Faith before he has his Aegis popped. In the meantime, XTT, a flying block of rubble, and YYF next on the list, able to cloak himself. And Moo has got Sunshine behind him. Is he actually going to do anything? He will. Telekinesis is not going to be there. Force Staffs is way ahead to catch back up with Banana, or excuse me, to catch back up with Moo. And Fissure actually caught Ferrari as well, so they get the kill on Ferrari. They're about to get the kill on Sansheng. And down goes the Enchantress. I mean, at this point, what do you say? IG has just continued to feed over. Yeah, there it is. I was going to say, well, I believe, let me check that and put it much more cleverly. I think YYF answered my question. What do you say? The answer is 2 letters, GG.
Well, TongFu just comes roaring back in game 2, and their laning stage was just a lot better this game. They died occasionally, but they still had like pretty good trade-offs, and I think they just had just way better execution. I don't think their draft was an issue. The first game certainly was an issue. The second game, the Viper pick, I think, was really clutch, though, because Viper is like, he doesn't really need that much farm. He just needs a lot of experience, and he's just really annoying. Alchemist and Enchantress pretty much absolutely did nothing that game. Like, Alchemist had a lot of farm, but like, what do you do? He still just got absolutely destroyed every single fight and didn't help his team at all in the first like 10 minutes. So I think IG just drafted a little bit too greedily. Like, if they play Enchantress, they need to get early kills. And Devil Midas against this 5-man roam strategy from TongFu is just not going to cut it, especially with the early mech. So they need an early mech bearer of their own. They need like a comeback mechanic that's not track if they're just going to go mass Midases. Like, you need like a Spectre or something like that with a hard carry that can actually do a lot without a BKB. But overall, I'm just really amazed by the play of TongFu this game. It was just night and day difference from game 1 to game 2. Really excited for game 3.
This is just how that team kind of plays. Again, when they show up and they find their rhythm early and they're able to get a draft they're comfortable with and maybe catch the opponents out making a mistake or two, they can play as good a Dota as you're going to see on the planet. That's not an exaggeration. When they're on, and they certainly proved it. Here in game number 2, they turn the bagel into the breadstick, and they're going to give us a game 3, pushing Invictus Gaming to their limit. The final game time, 26 minutes, 55 seconds, 10-26, as TongFu utterly walks over IG, forcing our full series to a Game 3. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, live here on the floor of our studio in downtown San Francisco. Not going to delay it too much, folks. Not a whole lot more to say. IG really just handled TongFu in Game 1, but Game 2, all TongFu, and now we're going to a Game 3. We'll see if TongFu can maintain the momentum and carry that over from Game 2 and make it a 2-1 comeback, or if IG can finally get it together and close things out.
Give me my rares.
That's... You heard, no bias casters, man. No bias casters. Come on. Have some professionalism. Jeez, get it together. Anyway, Ben and I both, biased or not, we'll be back here in just a moment. Make sure you stick with us, guys. You're watching the HyperX D2L Season 4. We'll be right back again. Game 3, IG versus TongFu next.